Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. This evening we start off with an update on the tropical storm in Barbados. No major incidents, damage, or injuries were reported across Barbados following the passage of Tropical Storm Dorian last night and early this morning. During a Tuesday morning press briefing at the National Emergency Operations Center, Prime Minister Mia Mottley thanked Barbadians and all agencies mobilized to ride out the storm for their compliance and commitment to ensuring that persons were safe. Overall, there were reports of fallen trees, poles, and power lines in Christchurch, St. Andrew, St. George, St. John, St. Michael, and St. Thomas, while there was one report of roof damage after the galvanized lifted house in St. Peter. The resident was evacuated. Water outages were also recorded in some parishes as a result of the power failures by the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited. Meanwhile, the Iconic's Freshwater Limited distillation plant, which was taken offline during the storm, is now back in operation, and water tankers are being dispatched to areas still affected by the water outages. Reports also indicate that everything went well at the shelters, where a total of 103 persons sought accommodation. Cleaning crews will be deployed to clean the shelters in preparation for the resumption of regular activities. The Royal Barbados Police Force also stated that there were no reports of injury or incident, while Minister of Housing and Land George Payne said the 18 houses on standby in event of damages were not utilized. Over to news coming out of Jamaica. Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP in charge of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Bishop Dr. Gary Welch, says as of September 1, the police will commence taking offenders of road rules to a customer service center immediately after being caught. Welch said this new method will help with reducing repeat offenders who commit multiple offenses and fail to either pay or go to court. ACP Welch said a customer service numeric system has been ordered, which will guide the order in which persons brought to the center will be served. He pointed out that when persons go to a customer service center, the authorities will run their driver's license to see if they have outstanding warrants. According to Welch, there are currently about 40,000 warrants for persons and appealed to them to go to the police. Welch was last week at the center of controversy involving the Mercedes-Benz, in which a driver was captured on video doing dangerous stunts. He was widely criticized for allowing the suspect, Dennis Dietrich, to walk away scot-free before the case was reopened when it was discovered that Dietrich, who had claimed that he was not the reckless driver, may have in fact not been the perpetrator. And finally, news coming out of Trinidad. It is being described as an unfair and horrific tragedy for 83-year-old Polly Mama Bahadur to be murdered in the way she was. Her head was completely bashed in, exposing her brain tissues, and her face smashed into the skull. Bahadur was beaten to death with a piece of metal allegedly by an 18-year-old relative. Bahadur suffered from arthritis in both knees and had to move around in a wheelchair. However, when she was in her house, she saw it fit and comforting to simply drag on her buttocks and crawl around. Bahadur was last seen in the kitchen dragging on the ground, attempting to make her way into the living room to relax. The last people heard from her on Sunday evening was shortly after 6 p.m. when her ear-piercing, pore-opening screams rang out, followed by her final words, "Oh God." Her lifeless, frail body was found in a crouched position on the floor of her living room, close to the front sliding glass door. The teenager was sitting near her body, very calm, by police officers who arrived at the scene. Bahadur's only daughter of 5 children, Savitri, who was at the Forensic Science Center on Monday, said that less than 2 months ago the teenager was hospitalized for drug addiction. And when he was discharged, he was sent to the St. Anne's Psychiatric Hospital for treatment, where he allegedly escaped 2 days after. Savitri blamed a close relative for allegedly hiding information from them about the teen. She also blamed her relative for her mother's demise. Investigators said that they strongly believe that the suspect was under the influence of drugs, and even after they arrested, they observed that he was acting erratically. Up to press time, the teenager remained in police custody. Well, that's a wrap for tonight's regional news. Thank you for watching.